Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yeah, we're going to get into everyone's favorite piece of content of the updated Prydwen tier list, which is everyone's favorite thing. I know, quick tangent though, a lot of people, where's the Zankou? Where's the Zanky mom, right? Where is the build guide? I fell down a rabbit hole today. I went through and did the event, got the 90k stuff. We went on a rabbit hole about how to build this character. I took all the notes, took me hours and hours. Do you know that Lost Radiance is like an insane set? Cycle intensity, main stat, substats, what's worth it, the different teams, Lacrimosa burn teams, break teams, A1 Daffodil teams, teams with Adler, teams with this broken arc, the Great Thief. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline when it comes to Zankou. But today we're gonna be going over on a quick side tangent, and we already released our own tier list. So let's see how the Prydwen boys and girls have all the characters written today. Now this one's gonna catch a lot of flack. I wanna see what they have down here because they didn't really move anybody. Let's go check out the change log now. This is where we get some cool stuff. We get to see the inside sights. You've heard mine maybe multiple times now. All right, Zankou, tier 0 new, the first playable villain, cool. Provides decent shakeups to our teams. She's got a lot of awesome stuff. Shocked us with her complex and fast playstyle. She's fun to play. She feels more like a Wuthering Waves character. Are we going to talk about why she's tier 0? She fits into DOT, break, and hypercarry archetypes very nicely and performs at a high caliber in all three. Placed her in T0. You can't go wrong with what team you put her into. And the thing that's really mixed out here is that you can combine a lot of these all at the same time. You can have Zankou be in a hypercarry situation, but also give her substat-wise priority cycle intensity. That's going to help her damage over time. Or just like you saw with my build, a mix of defense ignoring plus damage over time, in the fact that you're stacking both cycle intensity in the main stat and break intensity in the substats as well inside of a break intensity team. I'm doing all three of these things at the same time, and it's absolutely insane. We'll see more on that this week. I had to put all that stuff together. I was literally in the salt mines doing math. I busted out the calculator for you. All right, can I get a comment down below for the calculator? Chiz A3 has finally fallen down from T0 to T1. Whoa, they didn't even take her down to 0.5. They bumped her down to 1. Crazy. We've been saying this for forever. Why do they say it? Takes advantage of charge reaction, much like Shinku does. Yeah, I think Shinku does like hundreds of thousands of more damage than Chiz does though. But hey, that's probably why they shouldn't have been in the same tier. We said that like a month ago. However, playing that same archetype for Chiz is more difficult to play and also deals less damage. Duh. She does not synergize with any other character specifically. Hey man, hats off. I put her in T0 in my tier list. She's still a strong out-of-the-box character. Not a lot of ways to buff her. Doesn't really benefit from anybody. Doesn't really want to be in any team outside of the one Chiz team that we have. If you're building a team around Chiz that's got, you know, charge reactions and all that other stuff, you need to fit in a Blossom reaction. You need to fit in a Lakshana character. So you have both those reactions together to form charge. There's not a lot of characters that you can build around Chiz where you'd be like, you know what, I could probably just like build a different team and it would be better. So trying to use her in other people's teams results in another character being better on that slide in every scenario. Exactly. We've been saying this for a while. So you know what? Hey, put her in 1 at A6. Chiz A3. God bless, following through as well. Remove, dude. Hey, Prydwen, you've been watching my videos. Prydwen. It has been long enough that there isn't a major difference between whales at Tycoon 45 and free-to-play players who are aiming for that goal. Investing in Chiz as a main DPS long-term isn't worth the resources unless you're for aim 6 in the first place. Give it a couple more patches, and investing in Chiz as a main DPS long-term isn't worth the resources, period, is where it will be, and Chiz A6 will become, you know, 1.5 or 2 or something. I'm gonna bump her down to 2 after we get a couple more characters. You tell me, because no one's coming out that's gonna make her any better. No, maybe a Lakshana support, but guess who gets better when a Lakshana support comes out? Chaos in Shinku. Not Chiz. I ain't playing with Chiz. Nanali 0 to 0.5. Now let's see what they say here. Nanali's NTE's first rerun character 1.3 with Link on the horizon. Her best use case scenario is a sub DPS in other teams. Okay. It is hard to justify her in T0 after the addition of Roy. She's not needed in Shinku's team, and Nanali and Irori has similar performances than Hotori's Blossom team. This is true. We touched on that. She is still a good DPS capable of clearing out content and current on-game content, but a bit slower than other T0 alternatives. And I kind of said basically the same thing. And I think the answer to my question, or I answered someone's question in chat a couple of times, or similar ones, where they were like, hey, you know, I'm getting new to this game. Which one of these characters should I put on? Should I put on Nanali or Zankou? And I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, obviously the answer is Zankou. But then I was like, would it be any character? If there was 2 rerun characters up right now, or whatever, there was just Nanali and like another character, whether it's like Nanali and Chaos, or Lacrimosa, or Shinku, or Zankou, or Hotori, or Roy, or any of these characters that are on banner characters or have been on banner characters, I would probably tell you to pull for every single one of these characters before I would tell you to pull for Nanali. And it wasn't even like a question I had to like think about super hard. And then I was like, I'm gonna move her down to 0.5. That being said, they kind of touch on it here. Linko on the horizon. Linko on the horizon, they have this worded like it's gonna make Nanali worse. It might actually make Nanali a little bit better, and we touched on that in my video, because a lot of Nanali stuff is counted up as follow attack damage. She's got a lot of follow attack damage, and unless they change Linko, from what I know, Linko loves to buff up follow attack damage types. That's why Zankou has a bunch of follow up attack damage stuff in there. And one of the original Nanali teams was like a Hex team, right? You do like Sakiri, Nanali, you know, you really mess with the Blossom stuff. You would just do a bunch of Hex damage, buff upper damage, and Linko could fit super well in that, right? Nanali, Linko, and then go ahead and throw in like Sakiri and then like a 4th character of your choice. And that could potentially be a bump up for Nanali when Linko is released, and not like Nanali needs to come down to 0.5 because Linko is going to come out. I think you could see her go back up to T0 when Linko is released. Tier 0, we got Chaos. I'm here with it. You know, he's fine. He'll benefit. Maybe if we get like an additional Lakshana character. We've talked about him a lot. His main weakness is that he's basically married to having to have Hathor in the party. And Hathor, she's only up in, wait, 0.5 up here. Oh my goodness, I don't know about that. She's there for like her passive. She's there to make her more 12 seconds, 10% crit rate, fine. Uses her skill, you want her off the field as quickly as possible. That's basically all that Hathor it exists in this game for. And she does not need to be 0.5. There's no way we're putting Hathor up in the 0.5 category. As soon as an actual Lakshana support comes out, the character's gonna go like down to tier 2, right? Tier 2. Chaos though, easy to play, does good damage. There are more pop hitting for hundreds of thousands of damage, like a free, like a couple ultimates. It's good damage. Can't say anything wrong about Chaos. Lacrimosa, another winner of the patch somehow. Absolutely does not ever need to be removed off of T0. She got a brand new partner with Zankou, multiple new team members and team parties that you can put together. You know, Zankou, Lacrimosa, Sakiri, and then your choice of like Adler if you want to, Haniel if you want to, Fadia if you want to do a bunch of big damage. We've used the Discord squad with a random Hotori with Lacrimosa as well. Lacrimosa main DPS with Zankou as like a cycle intensity, a big scorch burner with a little bit of break intensity in there too, spamming out infinity scorches so you can use like the morning spell, right? A6 dupe, not A6 total on Lacrimosa, but like the 6th awakening, where you just start getting in multiple discords because your scorch never wears off because Zankou's in the party. You just keep doing Nova enhancement. It's a good time. Character's absolutely busted. Shinku stays in tier 0. Definitely for sure. I think she'll get even better if we get an actual Lakshana support. So like Chaos and Shinku are eating good right now. And potentially gonna be even better because Lakshana supports just do not exist. And I don't want to say that the things holding Chaos and Shinku back are a Lakshana support not existing, but that is a very integral point in party member that they don't even have access to. T0 Zankou, I would put her like probably one of, if not the best, one of the best characters in the game. If you want a flexible character who does like everything well, she is going to be a girl. You can go big cycle intensity and wear her and build her as like a cycle intensity Scorch character. You can go big break intensity mixed with damage inside of a break intensity big break team. You can build her for self damage with high crit rate and crit damage and incantation and mix these things together. She can do them all at the same time, which is super cool. I love this character a ton for that reason. The one that I've been messing around with right now too, and we'll touch on this. Like, look at this build. I think I did the first trial boss or whatever, right? Everything maxed out except for the HP. So you get 6,000 points because you need to get 6,000 points on everything. It was like 44 seconds, 45 seconds or something. I'm not even fully awakened and fully invested. Yeah, we're wearing the Lost Radiance set. Actually is really good on her because, well, it just makes you ignore 25% of enemy defense for 20 seconds after you cast their ultimate. This is insane. Don't get messed up on like, oh, the 10% Cosmos damage. Lost Radiance is very good. The incantation set is very good as well. She's got 2 very good sets. So, you know, getting the right cartridges sometimes kind of sucks. And maybe you have something that looks like this. You can go cycle intensity main, you can go break effect main, although I would stay away from break effect main unless you're in a, you know, break intensity stacking party. But even then I would wear like cycle intensity or crit chance or crit damage or incantation damage main. For sure. Consistency wise so far, like crit rate is the highest consistent damage, but basically I've tested all of these different ones, whether it's the Cosmos set or the incantation set. In crit chance, crit damage, incantation damage main, and cycle intensity are all about the same. This one has better substats for me right now, and it's giving me like 3 or 4 seconds better on my clear times for that specific team composition that I'm running there, which is just Sakiri, Zankou, Daffodil A1, and then this Adler who isn't even like fully maxed out yet. So yeah, this character is absolutely insane, and she definitely deserves to be up in the tier 0 category. Hotori, super flexible character. You can fit her into almost any team composition. If your team has strong skills that you want to copy, like one time, and unleash them when she ults, super awesome. Her personal damage is great. Even at A0, she is just someone who can fit it basically into any team, right? A lot of the teams we have going around right now, it's like you got the 3 characters that you absolutely have to have in that team, and then like a 4th slot to play around with a lot of the times. And for those teams, you can put Hotori there. We talked about something similar, right? Even with like Lacrimosa, Hanyo, Sakiri as like a party, throw a Hotori in there, copy the enemy skills, copy the cool stuff, copy some of the support skills as well, and then just do a bunch of big free burst damage because time stopped during her ultimate. If you're racing the clock, stopping the clock and doing a bunch of free damage is basically just free damage. It's not DPS anymore. It's just damage. It's just damage for her being in your party. Zero got even better here. They have A3 here. You can get A6 now. Zero, instant cycling, core of so many teams, but if you get access to it from the main quest, I haven't done it yet. I know. Throw the stones at me. But you'll be able to get the final awakening, which that one isn't that big of a deal, right? We don't care about that, but you'll get the resonance effect. She's going to give you a free 12% attack bonus for the entire team when she triggers a Cosmos Esper reaction. So that's just what she does in the kit, and she's just going to have like a team-wide 12% attack buff. So think of her as like another mini Sakiri now. So she got even better this patch. Irori and Sakiri, speaking of supports, absolutely top tier 0 for sure. Slot them into any team. They have a mix of crowd control and attack buffs as well. A little bit of defense ignoring on both of these characters' kits. I think Sakiri has like 10% and Irori has like 5%. And then Irori has like a little bit of healing and Sakiri has a little bit more crowd control, right? With the ultimate in the pull-in with her skill as well. So very strong characters, and these are just kind of like out of the box, can kind of put them in any team and you'll do good things with them as well. Mint from T2 to 1.5. Mint can take advantage of 2 S-rank buffers that we have in the game to deal good damage. She is able to work in place of other anim options for teams. With this in mind, her performance and account value are good as is, if not better than Aurelius, who's locked into one team at the moment. All right, so let's touch on these down here. This Mint thing, Aurelia, the Skia, like, look, this is why I always make fun of the 0.5s, right? I can get, and I've done 0.5 now for my list, and honestly my list is T0 core, like the core characters, like the best characters. You're going to be forming teams around these characters. That's how good they are. They kind of run the gauntlet on everybody. And then tier 0.5, is just like they're extremely good, but they're like the characters that you would put into like a T0 team, not building a team around them, right? And then I kind of stop from there. Technically, I could do like core T0 instead of T0 tier 0.5, but whatever. I wanted to do the numbers that everyone is used to at this point. That being said, this is why I don't do 0.5s. Look at this shit. 1.5, 1.5. We have no one in T2. We got Edgar's poor ass down here. A whole tier below anybody else, right? These characters, they're the sub-in characters, right? I don't have Nanali. I want a anima on-field DPS. Throw in Mint. I don't have access to Hathor, right? For my Shinku squad or whatever. You can kind of fit Skia in there. And I in fact like Skia more than Hathor for my Shinku team. And Skia doesn't work in a Chaos team. So he's still in T2. He's got like one single tiny niche for one team. It doesn't move him out of T2 for me. Same thing with Mint. You can sub her in. And Aurelia, listen, dude, I actually moved her down to join Edgar down in T3. If you're an Aurelia enjoyer, that's fine, dude. You know, you can probably do a bunch of content with it. But like at this point in time, if you're building a team around Aurelia, you're basically forcing Aurelia in a main DPS slot that is basically somebody else's team, right? Aurelia with a Lakshana character. I'm doing some Stain stuff with some Discord stuff. You could probably be doing like some sort of Chaos team or a Lacrimosa team or some of these other things that you could be throwing a team together in. You could be doing like a main DPS Daffodil team. You'd be doing a bunch of different things, but you're just having fun with Aurelia instead. Doesn't mean that she's totally useless or whatever. But it's like you got to try really hard and ask yourself a lot of questions like, what am I really accomplishing doing this? And it's like, well, I'm going to use Aurelia as my main DPS in my Psyche slot instead of using Haniel or Fadia as my support / burst damage / free mental damage based off of my HP Nova enhancement Fadia, or crit damage buff Hotori doing off-field damage, stealing attack, making me take less damage, buffing attack up off my team the entire time, buffing up my chaos, buffing up my Lacrimosa, buffing up my. You see where I'm going? You know, it's like, what else do you get? Oh, I have a girl who can't dodge while she attacks. She kind of roams around and she does damage. T3 for me. I moved down Jinwan to 0.5. She is still like one of the cores of the Blossom team, but there's so many different Blossom enhancers now that unless you're using like Roy plus Jinwan plus Nanali all at the same time with one of the characters, you're not fitting all of them in a team. Well, there's Mint now, there's Mint too, so there's like 4 Blossom enhanced characters that are anima type. You don't need them all, and I put her on the same tier as Nanali. I'm not going to put Nanali 0.5 and Jinwan T0 no matter how much I love this character. I did bump Haniel down to 0.5, but I think in hindsight I want to bump her back up to 0 because of the additional teams that she unlocked that can be good in these Zankou like Discord squads, right? There's some very cool stuff you can do like Zankou, Lacrimosa, Sakiri, Haniel, and get in there and do a bunch of cool stuff that way. She's just a fantastic character, and until we get like another Psyche support buffing character, there's no reason for her to be in 0 because she plays on the opposite of the elemental lines of like Sakiri and Irori, so she doesn't really have any direct competition in supports down by the Lakshana Psyche character. We talked about a lot of times in this video. There are no actual support Lakshana characters. Haniel's the one straight up offensive Psyche buff character, and then we have like a defensive support in Fadia. If you have a Discord character in your party as well, you can get a lot of Nova enhancement synergy off of either one of those two. That being said, one final person, I bumped Baking up to 2.5. He's good. He's got crowd control. He plays a lot with some of this Scorch stuff going on right now. I think he's a solid character. And being incantation element in some of these instances where we have someone like Adler, who I moved up into 0.1. I moved up into 1 right now. I think he was in 2 because he was one of those you can sub him in sort of characters. The Great Thief has really kind of made some waves with these break teams, right? So the Great Thief, if you don't know it, you can go get it. It's free. I think it's going to be in a patch soon, in a day or so. If you don't have access to it from doing the mini quest, you did it and threw it away, you'll be able to buy it for some of the the A rank arc currency. It gives break intensity for everybody that's the same Adler, the same elements as the wearer, including the wearer. And this goes up to like, I think 126. So if you have 3 incantation characters in your party, Adler being one of them, you're going to give, for instance, in my party, Adler gets 126 break intensity from the passive. She gets 126 break intensity for the passive. And Sakiri gets 126 break intensity for the passive. It's insane. He's got 444 break intensity right now. And break intensity matters for everybody when you're doing the break, as it says here. Everyone's break and everyone's level influences how much the totality of the break damage that occurs when you break an enemy. And the fact that you can get basically like 400 and something on him quite easily, and I haven't even leveled this bad boy up, is absolutely insane. And so I moved to bump into 1 because 1 for me is like, you have a solid slot, a party that you can fulfill. Might be a little bit narrow, maybe you have 1 sort of designated role, but it's a very powerful role, and that's kind of where I have him at too. So you let me know what you think about these changelog appearances down here. This Chiz thing, it was coming, man. And like we said, we're doing more stuff when it comes to builds for our girl in the future. This week we're doing a bunch of content on her, so if you want to see that stuff, make sure you hit the like, the subscribe. God bless, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.